Welcome back to the show. This is episode 9. For those following at home on the digital copy, our time code for this episode is 1 hour and 11 minutes and 25 seconds to 1 hour and 16 minutes and 15 seconds. Joining me today is Shenmue. So, following his arrest, Carmine Falcone is taken to county jail to await trial. Falcone cuts his wrists, knowing Jonathan Crane will be called to assess his mental health. That woman there that meets him at the facility, this is another British actress called Jo Martin. And
Yeah.
I looked her up, and the only thing that she's done that's noteworthy to me is she did several episodes of The Bill.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember The Bill?
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah.
So Americans probably won't know what that is,
Yeah,
but
they won't. Yeah.
it was a British ITV police procedural.
We love police shows in the UK. I don't know. There's a lot of them, isn't there? Like these kind of
Detectives,
police.
yeah,
Yeah,
detective.
yeah. They're very, very popular in the UK. There's like a ton of shows that are like that.
The bill is a slang term in the UK for the police. What made the bill unique was that it dealt with all levels of policing, from the detectives all the way down to the constables. And as I remember, they had various storylines, but they didn't really intersect. So the constable would have their storyline, which would be separate from some detectives who had their storyline going on. And it would intercut between the two, but very rarely would the two different storylines meet. At least that's the way I remember it. It's a long, long,
I
long
can't
time
remember
ago.
very much either. Yeah.
Like I was a kid watching it, but I
It was
remember I
very
did
popular
like it.
though.
Yeah, I do. I
Yeah.
do remember liking it.
Yeah. I don't
Uh,
remember her in it though, but I guess yeah, if you've
no, I
just
don't.
been in a
It's
few
too long.
episodes. I didn't know
Yeah.
she was British either. You can't always tell, can you?
Well, most of the actors in this movie are British, as I've been finding out, because every time I look these actors up, I find one after another is always British. So many of them.
He likes his British actors then, yeah.
Falcone's plan is to blackmail Jonathan. He knows that Crane's been experimenting on the inmates. I assume that means that he knows he's been using a fear gas, which that makes me assume that he knows that the drugs are the compound or not? Or do you think I'm giving him too much credit for all this knowledge, right? He may not have put all the pieces together.
I mean, he obviously hasn't put all the pieces together because otherwise he wouldn't have come in like this, right? Because there's a risk factor.
He probably feels this involves money somehow. That's why he wants in on it. If he knew what they were really planning to do, he wouldn't want that, right? He's a businessman. He doesn't hurt people unless there's profit in it, right? There's no
Yeah,
profit in
yeah,
what Ra's al Ghul and Jonathan are doing. I don't even know
true.
if Jonathan knows what Ra's al Ghul is doing. I think in the novel, Jonathan feels that they're going to blackmail the city. And I think he's excited to be able to test the compound on a large scale because that's the kind of thing he gets off on. He's hoping that the city pays the ransom and then they get to release the compound anyway. Raish's plan is to just destroy the city. He wants
Right,
money.
yeah.
But
Yeah, it's kind of
Falcone,
funny then that everybody doesn't really know what everybody else kind of wants and
yeah,
they don't understand that, yeah, they all have their own kind of thinking behind it, but none of them really have, they're not in sync at all, are they?
no, because Falcone knows the least of all of them, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
even when he says, I know about your experiments in your nut house, he may not even know that involves fear gas. He thinks he does something screwy with the people. Like maybe he doesn't even know it's a gas. And even if it is a gas, maybe he hasn't even made the connection that it's the drugs that they're bringing in has been turned into gas form. And that's what actually is causing them to go into. He may not even know that. I
Mm.
mean, what do you think? How much do you think he actually knows?
It's really difficult to say.
My guess is that he thinks it's just drugs. How much control does Falcone have over the criminal underworld in this movie? In London, you have the East End and the West End, and there's different gangs controlling different parts of London. Maybe there's different mob bosses controlling different parts of Gotham. Maybe Falcone controls the East End of Gotham because he's got the docks and stuff. So,
Right.
and that area spreading out from there. And so maybe he thinks that Raish, because I don't, does he know it's Ra's al Ghul for a start? Does he know who that is? Like, we know he fears this person, but he hasn't named the person. Is he just so scared he can't even say the name aloud? Or does he not know who he is? He just knows it's someone scary. It's someone to be feared. Has he been given a different name that he fears? Again, we don't know. But maybe he feels like this person's going to come into Gotham and he's moving in on the other mob bosses or something. And he's going to carve out a
Mm.
huge territory and distribute these drugs. And that's what he wants. He wants a piece of a new market. That's what I assume he thinks. If he knew if it was Raish, then you think he would be thinking, well, it's not going to be a drug deal then, because Ra's al Ghul is like a terrorist. He's not interested in money and drugs. He's interested in like murder and destruction. So that makes me think, well, even if he knows the name Raish, maybe he doesn't know what Raish is about. Maybe he's been given the correct name, but he's been given a different story about who the guy is, you know?
Yeah.
Because when Raish appeared to Bruce Wayne in the cell that time, like way back in the beginning of the movie. He's when Raish, I should say, when Raish was pretending to be Ducard, he said, Ducard said that Raish is a man greatly feared in the criminal underworld.
Yep.
So
Mm.
why is he feared? Feared because Raish doesn't tolerate injustice, which we saw in the movie when he executed that guy that killed that farmer and stole his land. Or was going to. So is it did the criminal underworld fear him because he enacts justice and that criminals can't escape the way they can in normal society if he's around? I assume that's what I always assumed it meant. And we know that like Falcone fears him. That's what I mean. It's like, well, if you know it's Raish and you know that Raish does not like criminality, then why do you feel like it's some kind of deal to get in on? It's just a little confusing to me.
Yeah. Yeah, and in the comics,
Hmm.
because Descartes, there is a character Descartes, right?
Yep.
And they're separate characters, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That
So
was
it's
the
interesting that they.
that was a thing to try and throw off the comic book fans watching the movie.
Ah,
So
I
if
see.
you're a comic book fan, and then Nolan hoped that you would believe that Liam Neeson really is Ducard.
Ah, okay.
Because in the
That's
comics,
cool, actually.
because
Yeah.
in the comics, Ducard was a guy that Bruce Wayne met on his 7 year sojourn, and he trained with him briefly. Ducard was a exceptionally violent person, like, and like
Okay,
Bruce
okay.
Wayne was with him for a time and did pick up some skills from him before moving on to his next mentor. And that's essentially who Ducard was really in the comics.
A mentor, yeah.
Yeah,
So that's clever that yeah, that makes sense now. So he tried to throw everybody off.
yeah.
Ah, that is really interesting.
Crane is carrying a mask in his briefcase. Now, do you think he brought this mask with him for this occasion?
Or he just carries it around all the time.
Yes, yes.
He probably just carries it around all the time, honestly. Like he's like, whenever you never know when you might need it, right?
That's what I was thinking. Like,
Yeah, I bet it is. I bet that's what it is.
if he carries it
The
with him, and
guy's
he's
so
just
fucked up.
adapting to a fluid situation, you know.
Yeah, he's like, this is a good time to get this thing out. Oh man.
because it's so portable, isn't it? Just it's just a sack right over your
Just a
head. Like
sec, yeah.
it's easy to put. If it fits easily in a briefcase, yeah, he probably has it all the time. Or did he go here intending to gas him? Did he think to himself, well, I've done the math and I've got enough powder now at Arkham. I don't need any more drugs brought in. If I'd had more, that would have been a bonus. But like, we actually have enough now. And since he's been busted, he's of no use to me at all at this point. So
Yeah, yeah, because you
the
see it in his
safest thing,
eyes, right?
yeah, the
Yeah.
safest thing to do is just like, let's take this guy out. So I
Yeah,
think he
yeah,
brought it
yeah.
with him thinking, I'm gonna gas him no matter
It's
what.
yeah. Because I love how you see it in his eyes when he's talking and he's like, and he realizes like, oh, he knows what's going on, right? And like, I love, yeah, like, you can kind of see that. But I wonder if he hadn't have said that, would he have still gassed him though? That's the question.
I think he was going to do it all along. I think he brought the mask there to
What a
do it.
stupid thing to do though, to like put himself. I did. It's at the beginning of this scene. As soon as we go in and we see Falcone there, I was like, man, what a dumb thing to do to put yourself. I know he was desperate to talk to him. But to put yourself in here, right, where you like you're kind of he's got the upper hand, right? You're in his territory. Even without this whole mask thing and going crazy, right? He's still got the upper hand anyway on
Crane could
Falcon.
actually pronounce him insane, right?
Yeah,
Like he
exactly.
could just
That
say,
was my
I've
very first thing
analyzed
coming
him.
in. I was like, oh, that's a really dumb thing to do because like maybe it's just because I've seen too many of these kind of things, right, in movies and all that, where you know that like these insane plate houses kind of thing. Like you essentially it's just up to somebody, right, to say, yeah, this person's insane and that's it. You're in there. So I was
Yeah.
like, immediately, I was like, oh, that's a really dangerous thing to do. He didn't really need to do any of this mask stuff and like gas him and all that. He didn't need to do any of that, right? I think
No,
he just
he
obviously
just
he loves
enjoys
doing
it.
it. Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. And
And
especially
it's
when
an
it's
extra
somebody who's
level of
just
safety, right? To actually make
yes,
him unable to talk.
actually insane. Yeah, exactly.
Also, did you notice when Crane came in the room? Crane came in like looking a bit weary, like he sort of looked, he came in like, is he going to jump at me or something? Like, where is he in this room, sort of thing? Like, is
Oh
he?
yeah,
I
yeah.
noticed he was a bit apprehensive as he came into the
He
room originally,
was.
Crane. Falcone says to him, he can't get me in here. I'm safe even from him in jail. But he didn't say, get me out of here, did he?
Yeah. Yeah.
So he cut his wrists just to speak to Crane so that he could get in on a deal.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like that's not. I don't think this is a very good depiction of Falcone as a character, actually. Like, the more I think about this scene, the more it kind of like doesn't sit well with me. Like, it feels like he would not do something like this, right? Like, he's not. Would he be that desperate to be in a deal to do something to like cut your wrists and everything, and then to put
Okay,
himself in?
so maybe
Yeah. The
the
more I think about
evidence.
this scene, the more it kind of like it just like, nah, this is BS, isn't it?
So the evidence against him is pretty strong, right? He's been apprehended at the docks, at the scene of a crime. His fingerprints are
Yeah.
there, the drugs are there.
Yeah.
Like he's sort of banged to rights, right? He's going away to jail. Maybe he thinks like, like when was it Capone that when he went to jail, he was like running things from the jail, or maybe it wasn't Capone, but one of the gangsters.
Oh, I see.
Maybe Falcone's thinking
Ah,
like,
yes.
so maybe Falcone's like, I want in on the deal. You will transfer me to Arkham. At Arkham, I'll have an easier time of things than I would in a regular jail.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and
yeah,
because
yeah.
Crane's running Arkham, he can get Falcone a really cushy place to stay, a nice room,
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
better
Okay, that
better
makes more
food,
sense.
all that stuff, and he can
Yeah,
run his business from within jail and
yeah.
being part of this big deal.
Okay, now that does make a lot more sense now that you said that. Yeah, I guess I didn't think of that angle. Okay, yeah, that does make sense.
Okay.
So now
Hmm.
it's a bit more smart that he's doing what he's doing, but
Yeah.
obviously he just never expected him to cross him like that because he thought he had enough on him.
What do you think of the mask, just from a visual point of view? Do you like it?
It's okay. Yeah, it's kind of cool, I guess. It's just, yeah,
I like
you have
it,
it.
but I would like it to be even creepier.
Yeah, like it doesn't have much of a face to it, right? Like it just looks like what it I guess it's him, it's Nolan doing the realistic thing again, right? It looks kind of silly in a way though, like it's just a sack basically. It's so fast. You know what? He should have turned the lights off before he did it, right? Maybe shut the
Oh,
blinds or
yeah,
something.
imagine if he walks over to like the light switch, right? And then he turns back just before he puts the mask on, and then he flips the
Yeah.
light off or something. And there's just like
Yeah,
a
yeah. It's weird, isn't it, to do it with the daylight pouring in? Like, I wonder why they did that.
I do
It's
actually like the mask, but by
very
putting
good.
it in bright light, you're taking away its power, right? It's like Batman.
Yeah,
You put Batman in broad daylight, the suit
it's
is
depowered.
not,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah. It's not
depowered
menacing, is it? No,
than when it's in the shadows and dark.
totally, totally. Yeah, no. This is not giving it its best, is it? And because it's so quick as well, because we need time to process, right? We need time to process what we're looking at, so that we can be scared as well as the viewer. And
Mm.
if something's too quick, you haven't got time to even really take in what you're looking at. And I think, yeah, I just think that, yeah, that whole bit is just too fast, too light.
We don't know what Falcone's seeing either, do we? We don't know what it is that he fears. And I feel like it's a terribly missed opportunity to not show that because the film's realistic, right? And so there's certain things that you just can't do. But what you can do is when someone is under the effects of the gas, that's the opportunity for the movie to go in wild directions of fantasy and horror.
Yep.
And it would work within the context because we know that it's not actually happening. It's not real. It's in the person's mind. But that doesn't make it any less real for them. And so Nolan had an opportunity with the Scarecrow character here to really let his imagination run wild and still maintain the reality and the realism of the movie.
Yep.
I would have loved to have seen what it is that Falcone was experiencing.
He doesn't even say anything, right? It's just like, oh, whatever. Like, even the bare minimum is if he was saying something relevant to his fear, right?
Yes.
Like crying out for whatever, like his family, or I don't know what it would be his fear, but like something that would also like sell it. But he just goes, oh, and all that. Like, again, it's not his acting. Like you say, it's just what he's been told to do.
We didn't get into the psychology as well. I know that's something that you would like to see with a scarecrow, right? See him manipulating someone's fears, like not just
Exactly. Yeah,
gassing them
yeah,
and they
yeah, yeah.
immediately go insane and start seeing something that you don't see, but let us see what they see
See what they
and let
see.
and
Yeah,
let him
yeah.
let us see him
That could have
manipulate
been
the
really
fear.
interesting. Yeah, it feels like this scene is just maybe the whole scene was rushed. I don't know, but it feels like it's just like we just put it
It,
into this
it,
small
to me, it
piece.
feels like there's so much potential to the scarecrow character, and we're
Yeah, I mean,
just
I've
seeing
said
a
before,
tiny
right? Like, I feel
fraction of
like he's
it.
one of my favorite kind of bad guys. Like, I feel like if you really go to town with, yeah, like you said, it's just the psychology of it that's so interesting, right? Like how you can really delve into like what people's fears are,
Mm.
and you see, and then that character gets more padded out, right? We'd know more about Falcone as well, right? It'd be really interesting to see what is his fear. I don't know, it's like it'd be very interesting to see like what that means and why does it drive him to be insane? Like,
But because
there's
we
so much
don't
you could do with this.
see what Falcone's seeing, when Tom Wilkinson, the actor's freaking out like that, to me, it looks a little. It doesn't really sell it either. The
Like
acting doesn't
forced.
seem that great. Yeah, like
Yeah.
and I don't think it's his fault. It's just because he's got nothing to work against. Do you know what I mean? Like there's nothing.
Yes.
We're not seeing it. Like we're not getting all the extra
No
bits and pieces
context.
that. Yeah, like I just. It's such a shame,
Yeah, because
right?
it's hard to act regardless when there's nothing to act with, right? And like
Yeah,
there
he's
isn't
acting
anything here. It's
terrified,
just
and we're like, yeah, what though?
yeah,
Like we
because
don't see
all
it.
we see, right, as the viewer is he looks like he's scared because the guy's got a mask on that looks a bit scary, and that's about it, right? We know there's a lot more to it than just that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you've
it
got to
is it's
really
a
use
waste,
your
isn't it?
imagination, and that's
Yeah.
fine. But like, it is a movie, it's movies should show, they should
Yeah, they
show it,
should.
and it's a cinematic landscape. Like, Just imagine the weird, creepy stuff that could be done in this sort of surreal, like netherworld of someone's mind, like the things that they
Yeah,
could do in this movie with this character. What a waste of
I
potential.
know, it's such a waste.
You see this shot here of Batman perched on this rooftop. I find it an interesting shot. I assume it's supposed to be establishing that Batman is looking down on Gordon and his family, looking down through their kitchen window. But the shot doesn't make that clear. And I wonder, is that Batman there where I think he may be? Or is he just randomly in a different part of the city at this point?
Like it's hard to say, right? I mean, it that seems like a good assumption since that's where he's going to go, but
It's unclear. And then there is broken brickwork on the edge here, which I've always thought is interesting. And then across the way, you can see another building. And to me, that looks like part of a building, perhaps spanning from the far side to where Batman is, used to be. And it's been demolished because there's these little black slots where maybe girders used to be. And perhaps all that's been taken out. And this part of the neighborhood's due for demolishment. I don't know. It's really unclear. What do you make of it, Shenmue?
yeah, that does look weird. So when I thought that looked very odd to me.
It's really cool seeing Batman up on the rooftop like this with the cape billowing and stuff, right? That's
Oh
really
yeah,
great. That's
yeah.
fantastic. But it's always been tempered by the fact that I've been slightly confused about where Batman is in relation to what he's doing.
I mean, maybe it is meant to be like he's just waiting because he thinks Gordon's going to go out, right? Which he does. I
It's
mean, I
just,
don't know how he knows that, but maybe he's already observed him or something like that.
but if it is Gordon's neighborhood, like, why is it like this? Why is the rooftop that Batman's on all like crumbling away and all
Yeah,
the
yeah.
brickwork's broken off and stuff? It's like, I don't know what is happening here. Like,
Yeah, because when you see when Gordon comes out and you actually see the outside, it doesn't look anything like that, right?
no, but you assume he
It's
was
just houses that just
higher
sit.
up. But yeah, it doesn't look, I don't know, it just doesn't look right, does it? It looks like two completely different locations.
Yeah, it's very disjointed. It's strange that.
It's not just me that
No,
thinks
no, I
that.
thought the same thing. Yeah. In fact, I noticed the one on the left-hand side when like when I last watched it rather than the right. But you're right about that as well. But I was like, that looks weird. It looks like I said it just to me it looks fake because I feel like I've never seen a building that looks quite like that.
I think it was one thing, and they've begun a demolishment of it. But
Yeah, it's very
yeah,
strange.
it's very hard. But whatever it is, it's confusing because not only do we not know what this is, but it doesn't seem to relate to Gordon's abode.
Yeah,
Other movies would have an establishing shot where you see Batman in relation to Gordon's house, right? So you can go, oh, he's here and he's
yeah.
looking over there. This doesn't give you that information to sort of put it together to say, like, where is Batman?
I don't know.
So we're seeing an image here of domestic family bliss, do you think?
I mean, they look like they're pretty happy, I guess.
Well, would it surprise you to know that in the comics, they're far from happy?
Ah,
This is his wife, Barbara Gordon. She's portrayed by an actress called Elissa Fradin. I think that's how you pronounce it. And the baby here, that's James Gunn. Sorry, James, not James Gunn. James,
James Gunn. Yeah,
it's James Gunn.
it looks just like him. Yeah.
It's got similar hair. This is James Gordon Jr. But
Oh,
the baby playing him is Hayden Nickel. It's
his kid or
interesting
whatever.
that they went there with this movie because this is following comic continuity of the time. So in the comics, James Gordon is married to Barbara. They do have a kid called James Gunn. James Gordon Jr.
James.
And but here's the interesting thing. In the comics, James Gordon has an affair. He commits
Oh,
adultery with a woman at work, a fellow police officer named Sarah Essen.
Shameful.
And he does this while his wife, Barbara, is pregnant with
Oh
James
man.
Golden
Classic.
Jr. And she is heavily pregnant when he does it.
Oh man. Right.
So,
So hence why they're not having like a great time.
so they look okay here in this. Now, this may not be happening in this storyline. We don't know, right? They may not be following the comic exactly right to what it was.
I mean, I guess in the movie, it doesn't imply that they're not
That's
okay, but it doesn't
tiny,
imply that they
but
are.
yeah,
Oh,
exactly. The movie doesn't tell you. Like if I didn't know the comics, I'd see this scene and I think they look happy. So what happens is his wife obviously finds out about the affair, and they try to make the marriage work for a time, but then eventually it's clear it's not working out, and then she divorces him, and she takes James Gordon
Gordon.
Jr. Yeah, and we're still again. She takes James Gordon Jr. with her, but then that's not the end of Gordon's problems because James Gordon Jr. then develops sociopathic tendencies
Oh man.
and he becomes very troubled.
Oh dear.
And then as a see, I thought you'd like all this because you like it when it gets
Yeah,
dark, right?
I do. I do.
So when James Gordon Jr. grows up, he becomes a serial killer.
Oh man, I love it. It's so dark. So the
Yeah.
very thing that, you know, Gordon's trying to like protect
Yeah,
from
yeah.
and
Is
fight
it if
against.
it's not bad enough that he's trying to stop these criminals, he gets one in his own family, his own son.
I guess there's a sort of moral kind of implication to all this, right? Like it's kind of like there's a bit of, like it's kind of what his actions kind of caused it, really.
Uh,
Which I also kind of, I mean, maybe not full on caused
well,
it, but I feel like I like
mm,
that kind of thing where it's like
maybe it,
he's made a mess and it's kind of ultimately led to his demise in a way.
well, maybe if he had have stayed with his wife, right? He being a cop, he may have been able to recognize the signs earlier,
Yeah.
right? Because he is a cop. So, and then he would have been able to get his son the help that he needs so that he wouldn't develop into a full-on like murderer. So that it may not have got to that point if
Well, I
Gordon
was
had
even
been
thinking
like
as
a
well,
present
like,
father.
yeah, I mean, I was also, I mean, yeah, basically what you said, but even on a more basic form, is like just the fact that their son didn't have the father present. I'm not
Oh,
saying everybody who doesn't have a father present is suddenly going to be, but you know what I mean? Like having that might have helped to like, and also maybe like the mum's telling the son, right? Like, oh yeah, the reason you don't have a dad around is because it's like a lot of different reasons that pile up is what I mean, I guess. So it's like if other things happen, so like what led him to become the way he is will have been because of a bunch of different things. And if
mm,
some of those didn't happen, i.e., like for example, his dad was still there, then maybe it would have helped. And then, like you said, like he was also a cop, so he could have also helped out with that. Although, I mean, you could argue as well that like they probably would have always had some like, it's always hard, isn't it, with the police like be like kind of being married to someone in that situation, I guess, because they're just not going to be that present anyway.
yeah. So the clever thing about the way they've done it in this movie, though, is that you don't know, like you say, you don't know if that happens or not because we don't witness it. The setup's there. So if this is happening if it did happen in the continuity of this movie, Gordon would have already have had his affair at work with Sarah, and then his wife would have found out about it, and then they would be currently trying to make it work.
And
she
that could
hasn't
be what's going
divorced
on
him yet.
here.
It could well
Mm.
be what's going on, but it's just left to our imaginations because we don't know.
I kind of like that though as well. And I think they could have explored that in future movies if they'd
Well, in
have.
the second movie, they he's still with his wife,
Yeah, he is.
and
Yeah.
his son is miraculously like 7 years old or something, even though it's supposed to take place 9 months later. So there is a continuity gaffe in the second movie because of that.
Huh.
Because we're told that like as basically the Dark Knight takes place less than a year after Batman Begins, right? Because at the end of this movie, we find out that there's this guy called the Joker that's out there, right? And then in the second movie, we pick up with that where Batman's like, okay, I'm going to turn my attention to dealing with this guy now. So it is a period of months, not years. And yet we've gone from a baby in this movie to like a 7 or 8 year old or whatever he is in the
Yeah.
Dark Knight. So something's not
Maybe they
right there.
forgot that they showed him like that in that scene because it's such a small part.
Could be, yeah. Or I mean, I don't think was the intention, but could it be that Nolan thought, well, maybe he's already got another kid maybe that's not his first kid. Maybe that's not James Gunn
Oh yeah,
Jr.
true.
there. Like maybe that's James Gunn Jr., not James Gunn,
Two.
James Gordon Jr. too. Yeah.
You just
Listen,
got James Gunn on your mind, man.
I know it's Gordon takes the trash out.
Actually, I think it's an. Is it an apartment where he's living, or I think it might be, right? The ground floor. I'm not
It
sure.
could be. It's hard yeah, because look, there's a fire. Is that fire escape, right? So made of wood. It's hard to say, isn't it, if there's someone above or not?
Yeah, it was the fire escape made of wood thing that made it. Although I've never seen a fire escape made of wood like this. And it
No.
kind of seems like a really dumb design because if there's a fire, the least thing you want is that the fire escape is wood.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not a fire escape, that's just the entrance to the other
It could
apartments.
be
I'm not
like
sure.
it could be that someone's converted a house into apartments and the landlord has just made this cheap wooden staircase to access the apartment above or something. Who knows, right? It's really hard to say. He's definitely not in a good neighborhood because you can see it's run down, can't you? And
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
cheap. This is a cheap place to live. But yeah. Anyway, so he puts his trash out. But yeah, look, this is Gordon's reaction, look, to seeing Batman for the very first time. The guy's like just starts speaking to him and he just turns around and he's like, "Oh, hey."
I know, I know. Like it seems so like it's just like, oh yeah, okay, you're there. And like, yeah, it he doesn't seem shocked by it that like not only that he's just there in his home, but he's also like seeing, yeah, the actual proper Batman
I
for the
would have
first
jumped
time.
out my skin if I went out to
Yeah,
put trash
same.
out at night like that. Forget that it's Batman. If it's just anyone, if any dude's just like there and just starts speaking to me, I'm like, whoa, like, that would have made me jump.
Yeah.
And then
No,
if I
yeah,
turn around and I see a
I
guy
didn't
dressed
believe
like
that.
that, that would really like you'd be like, what the heck? Like because
Yeah.
like he hasn't seen Batman yet. This is the very first time that he's seen Batman. That he doesn't even know what Batman looks like. All they've had is like descriptions, right? At the moment.
Yeah. Maybe it's because it's trying to show that like this guy's seen everything and he's like, he's kind
Mm,
of seasoned. But I still feel like you would have more of a reaction than this, no matter what, right? But no,
yeah.
I definitely thought the same thing. Like I was surprised that he like
Well, I've read comic books where Gordon's jumped out of his skin when Batman's appeared and starts talking to him.
I
You
mean it
know,
seems way more realistic. All he does is shuts the door to his house and that's it. I was just surprised how mellow that was.
it's cool to see Batman crouch like that. It's not something you see a lot of because the suits are obviously so awkward to maneuver in, the older suits that And I don't even know if Batman could crouch if he wanted to be honest with you, with the suits they
Yeah,
had him in previously. So it is cool to see that. But I mean, what do you think? Do you like the crouched pose like that?
I don't know why I'm finding it so weird, but just him holding on like that is kind of a little bit weird. But I know why he has to do it. But
I
he's
would have
Batman,
thought,
for goodness sake, right?
well, for
But he is
me,
just a
right?
guy. Yeah, I
For
guess.
me, I would have thought that he would not want to be seen in a lit area like that because that's quite well lit where he's chosen to
Mm,
perch himself. And I would have thought that he would have at least sort of like pulled his cape around him, right, to sort of conceal himself a bit more, because especially his face, because he's fairly close to Golden here.
he is, yeah.
I always think of the first Batman film with Keaton, how he really tried to not let anyone get a look at his face. You know, when Vicky Vale tried to get a look at him, he would like turn away into the shadow.
Mm,
That's how I figure Batman would be. Like he would not want someone getting a good look at him like this. This might be a bit too close for comfort for Batman, I would have thought. Why is Batman having this meeting with Gordon then? What is the purpose of it?
um, well, I mean, I guess it is to establish a relationship, right? Because I think because he wants to like use him to work with him, and like at the end, he does say like, What do you think?" Right? So he's trying to gauge whether he thinks he would work with him. I think so. I think
Right.
that's the main point of this is just like Batman's assessing like, is this guy somebody I can actually trust in a little bit and work with,
That's
which I
what
think
I
is
think
really,
it is.
yeah, I think that's really cool actually.
Because Batman doesn't
Makes
get
sense.
any information from Gordon,
No, he doesn't.
and Gordon doesn't get anything from Batman. Neither party get anything out of this, right? They're
Yeah,
not sharing information. But like you said, that Batman's doing this to try to cement a relationship.
he is very well lit here, like you said, though. You wouldn't want to take chances on this type of thing, would you?
We'll go on to see later on that Batman gets even closer and has no concern about it either. So this has to be one of my favorite scenes as a Batman fan. Quintessential Batman, but also Gotham City as I love to see it portrayed. Filthy, overcrowded, heavy rain. It's just how I imagine Gotham City in my head.
Yeah, this is awesome. It really sets the scene of how the city is like the rest of the city is, right? Like this dirty, grimy side.
And I know when we were speaking earlier about this, you were surprised to learn that this is actually a set.
Yeah, I never thought that this was like I thought this would be in a studio. Like I almost feels kind of stupid to do that, but I get that. Yeah, they just really wanted like a controlled environment. But like it looks so good though, doesn't it? It looks like so much
Because
like it's actually on the street. Even the rain looks really real because often rain looks very fake when it's in a studio. Like it has this kind of like it's like a uniform look to it or whatever.
I've watched a number of films recently where they've done the fake rain thing when people have been sitting in cars and it looks so fake where it's
Yeah.
literally it looks like someone's just holding like a hose pipe over the top of the car and it's just like pouring down the side of the window. It's like, wow, that's awful. I don't know what's going on in some of these productions these days, but with this movie, it looks totally real. I mean, what sells it as well that this is a real city is like you can see the cars going by on in the background as well, right? It's not just the
Yeah.
people rushing to and fro with their umbrellas, but you're seeing cars pass up and down the street.
I wonder how they did that then. Do you think they had cars in the studio as well, or do you think they
Yeah,
added that on? That's insane. It's beautifully well done though. There's so much detail here.
I said on one of the previous episodes that they had an enormous hangar that they converted into a studio, and they were able to build an entire city block inside this structure, multiple levels. They were able to build not just outwards, but vertically as well, because it had an enormous height. The roads are paved and everything. They brought over American cars on ships and had them
Mm.
driving up and down the streets and things. That's what sells it, that this is so real.
Yeah, it's
It's
really good.
something we never see again, do we, in the Nolan trilogy? They they film on location in the other ones, don't they, in Chicago?
Yeah, and that's why, I mean, I know me and you have often kind of complained in the past about like how the other two movies, um, they just feel they feel very there's a blandness to them, right? In that sense, because it really is just Chicago. It's just a city. It's just, as it is, like bare bones, and you can kind of tell.
But it's
Whereas this
too clean as
movie,
well.
too clean. Yeah, 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 exactly. And like this movie really has like because of these sets and stuff that they've done, it definitely has kind of uniqueness to it, but it's also this sort of yeah, extra dirty and griminess that they can get in a studio that would be difficult to emulate in the out there in the city and everything.
Yeah, because if you did go to a real world location that was really run down like this, which other films have, Blade did it. There was a scene in Blade where you meet young Blade when he's like living on the streets and he's basically living sort of in a back alley. And they filmed on location, and the crew had to clean up all of the trash that was actually there, the broken glass, the needles, all that stuff. And then they had to put back their own fake trash. So it ended up looking exactly like it did beforehand, but now it's actually sanitized. But what they couldn't
Yeah.
do, because they were on location, that meant they could only film at certain times of the day. Whereas in this, they can film, like, if they wanted to, 24 hours because it's a controlled setting. And then they also, on Blade, they had to deal with the residents who were um, like drug users and a lot of unsavory people who would throw like bottles of urine out the window at them and feces, and they would actually throw needles down on the crew and stuff, and they had to like put these nets up over them while they were trying to film there, and they said it was an absolute nightmare.
Oh
So
man.
but that was because the budget for Blade was really low. So it was actually cheaper for them to like go to a real world location and do that. Whereas with this film, they had the money to just build all of this in a controlled setting.
Yeah, but that also makes sense why, like, when it's like we were said about this being a set, like my first thinking was like, well, why did they not just film it on a location like that? But like, yeah, it does make a lot of sense when you kind of say it like that because there's a lot of danger to it. There's all the cleanup and everything. Like there's a whole extra layer of stuff that I don't even you wouldn't normally think of. Because it's true, like obviously if you're going to be in that kind of environment, it definitely is going to be like unsavory characters that are going to be living there, right? That are not necessarily going to treat you
Mm,
with respect that you've got the film crew there. Because they probably also wouldn't like feel super great about the fact that you've got a film crew there because your place is so shit, right? Like I feel like that would be like it wouldn't be great from their perspective. So I guess yeah, there's a lot
and
to it.
I'm not sure if we'll ever see this kind of set building again, at least
Right.
on a
Yeah,
Batman production,
I
because
agree.
even on the Batman, which looks incredible, and does have this gritty aesthetic. A lot of it like was achieved by using the technology that they invented for the Mandalorian show.
Yeah.
I think they call it the volume. So what that is, it's like it's these huge LED screens that sort of wrap around essentially like a stage. It's like so Google says it's 270 degrees wraparound, 20 foot high, 75-foot wide LED screens that display real-time photorealistic 3D backgrounds rendered by the Unreal 4 engine.
Yeah, they're
So
actually real time, right? So it's literally
yeah,
the same kind of thing as a video game where it's it's not like done in post production. It's actually right there. It's rendering
yeah.
something, which is
So the
amazing
actors
that they
can
can do
see
that.
it. Zoe Kravitz said that when she was filming on the set for the abandoned skyscraper where she's there with Batman and Gordon, she's seeing the city in the distance. And they got the wind machine going, but because she's seeing it, she felt vertigo, and she said she felt she didn't want to get too close to the edge because she like falls off because it's so real. It's
That's so
totally
cool.
real. So what we see in the film, that's what they saw on the day. So it really helps you with your imagination. But then because of things like that, there's so much now they don't need to build. Like you look at this film here
Yeah.
with this scene, they built all those buildings, right?
This
And they
could all be
built
done with
different
a wraparound
streets and
as
everything.
well.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
this would all be this volume
That is
technology.
kind of sad though, right? Because like it is cool the volume stuff and it is definitely a lot better than like traditional green screening, but it is kind of sad that like we're going to lose this because I still think that there's something about the real set that will always
Would it?
we
Yeah.
can never quite get that because I mean yeah and the wraparound stuff like it does give you like the lighting as well, which is another crucial aspect, right? Like it's
Hmm.
like the because it is real time and it is the real scene that they're going to see, the lights bouncing on their faces and everything are the real lights that you would get in that
Yeah.
scene.
So on this film, for example, they'll use like gels in windows to simulate there's a light
Right. Yeah.
in a room. Whereas with the volume, they could actually render an actual room with proper
Yeah.
light source within it, so it sells it more. So you've got that benefit. So like on
Yeah.
the Batman, going back to that scene when they're on the skyscraper, like those concrete pillars were really there. They were really built. The floor was
Right.
really
Yeah.
the concrete floor they're standing on was really built. The elevator that they come out was built, but it's just really what's beyond that, that like because that's the thing with that volume. It's like it's quite far away from the actors. It's so they got quite an area to play in where you can bring in set detail and things like that.
Yeah. But it is a bit of a shame though. I still think it's a bit of a shame. I do love the fact that they built like real sets here.
I did not know what falafel was until I'd never even heard of it until I'd watched this film. I
Have you
Googled
tried
it.
any though? That's the question.
No. Do you have, right?
Yeah, I've had a fair bit of falafel, yeah. I really
I mean,
like falafel to be honest. It's often in like a wrap like he's yeah, like he has here, but you can have it in other I think they often have it in like a balls kind of format.
but it's
But like if it's
vegetarian, right? There's no
it
meat.
is I think it's vegan actually.
I do want to try it so much because when Flash is eating this, every time I watch this scene, I'm always like, first of all, it makes me hungry, but also I'm like, I want to eat that.
Yeah.
Like, it just makes me want to have some.
It looks good.
This should be
He's
an
actually
advert.
eating.
Flash is cool. And I wondered,
All in the set still, right?
yep, see, it's so vertical. Look,
Yeah,
see how high that is? Because,
that's crazy.
but I did wonder how Batman caught Flash here because he's walking along and he's caught like when you look carefully he's caught by his ankle, right, and he's just yanked up. So I'm thinking it's sort of like how you would catch a bear or something or an animal in the woods, right? You lay like a big loop of wire or rope on the ground and then it falls into it, triggers it, and it yanks them up normally from a tree branch or something, right? I think Batman's done the same
Yeah,
thing.
it certainly seems that way, but I do wonder though with this bit, right? Like how did Batman know exactly which way he's going to go though? Like, does he always follow the same pattern every time, or does he like? What do you think? Like,
well
how
we,
do you think he got him there?
well we know that Flash is taking money from different businesses. He's just took it off that guy there. And then earlier in the movie, when Gordon was waiting in the car, he went into a convenience store and he took money from their cash register as well. So I
Hmm.
think I think that he has like a weekly round or something. And I think Batman's done his like due diligence. He's followed the guy for a while. He's learnt his pattern, his routine. And he probably knows that Flash is coming along this way because he probably makes the same trip every time. He's probably parked nearby. I imagine he's probably like left his car, walked through this alley to this guy, collected his money off that guy for the week, and now he's walking back to his car. And so Batman's had the opportunity to lay the trap.
Yeah, yeah, and he's like, oh, I know his car's over there as well, and like. This is a good place to put it then. And then also he has the opportunity to be up there on the staircase and everything, right? Angry Batman.
I mean, this is he's like most angriest, right? But it's not a real anger, is it? It's an intimidation. He wants Flash to think that he's completely unstable. He will really drop him, right? So he'll spill his guts.
I do find that I feel like he's just a little bit over the top in this scene for me. I don't know if it's his acting or whether it's just the idea behind it. I don't know, but there's something about like how he's like trembling.
He's shaking
It's
with anger.
something, yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like it's like there's something not quite right. Something doesn't quite sit well with me. It feels like slightly cringe, right? Like I don't know. I don't know if you feel the same, but like there's, I don't
I
know. There's something a
For
bit off
me,
about it.
for me, the scene works.
No, I don't know. There's something a little bit off about it. But I do, I get the idea though that he's just trying to intimidate him. Also, I noticed that he doesn't have like perfectly aligned teeth here. I never noticed that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if he's like, because like that's quite rare for actors and actresses, right? To not have like that actually looks a bit like my teeth because I've got I'm having Invisalign right now to try and align my teeth,
Mm.
and like it's not quite there yet, so mine is slightly off like that. I mean, everybody's is normally a bit off, right? But actors and actresses, they normally have like
I've
perfect
never
teeth if they've
noticed it
already done all
before
that.
on Christian Bale, though, have you?
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
In all the films, like it's only because we've got it paused that it's
Yeah.
sort of
You would
noticeable.
never really notice, but it's just slightly like one of his teeth. It's exactly like mine actually, where it's just like one of his teeth is just a bit off there. It's like tucked in a bit. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if he's literally undergoing Invisalign right here as in like he's like in the middle of it. So now he's probably got like perfect straight teeth. But yeah, interesting.
We'll have to see, like in later
Yeah, I'll have to
films,
see him.
whether
Yeah,
it's still there or not.
that'd be kind of interesting. Small detail, but yeah.
Yeah. Earlier in this episode, we speculated how much Falcone knows about Raish and the League's plot, right? And
Yeah.
now Flash gives information to Batman that's got me wondering how much he knows about the plot. We know he knows less than Falcone even, because earlier in the movie, when he gets back in the car at the docks with Falcone, and he wants to know like what's the difference between the rabbits and the bears, Falcone won't tell him. Basically, he's like, it's a need to know basis. Under interrogation here by Batman, Flash says that he knows that it's not standard drugs that's been going to the Narrows. And he says the drugs go to a guy in the Narrows for a few days before being distributed to dealers. And we know that Crane is pouring the compound into the water mains at Arkham Asylum. So why are the drugs going to a random apartment in the Narrows first? Why not take them directly from the docks to the asylum?
Right. Yeah.
And what do the drugs
Yeah.
dealers have to do with it? Now, do you have a theory about that? Because I have a theory.
Yeah. I mean, well, it definitely seems like um it there's a lot of like there's definitely a lot of like layers of needing to know stuff, right? And like obviously it's really interesting that he's still not aware. Like it feels like no one's really aware of the full picture, right? Which is
Hmm.
really smart. So that when things like this happen as well, when you get interrogated, you still don't really know everything there is to like about the whole big picture.
Yeah, because Flash
Um,
says he's never been to the Narrows. He
right,
says
yeah,
cops only go there in force. So
yeah.
we know that the Arkham is in the Narrows, but the Narrows itself is a really good location to do this sort of thing because you know you're not going to get any sort of police interference. And my theory is that they're using this apartment in the Narrows as a buffer. So that, as you say, should anything go wrong, they were to trace it back to the apartment in the Narrows. Maybe the guy gets busted, but then at the end of it, the line might stop there, right? Because like Flash knows it goes to a guy in the Narrows. He doesn't know what happens there. He's saying to Batman that it goes to drug dealers, but we know that isn't the case. We know
Hmm.
that Crane has his own men and that they collected from the guy in the Narrows. So my guess is that the guy in the Narrows he doesn't even know who those guys are that are working for Crane. So, and obviously he wouldn't know where it goes once Crane takes possession of him. The guy in the Narrows, like Flass, probably thinks that those are dealers that are coming to collect it. So
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I do like that though. Like, and I like that,
It's well thought out, that's for sure.
yeah, and from the cops' perspective, they think they basically it's a case closed, right? They impounded the drugs at the docks and they've got Falcone. And as Rachel says, they're like, we got everything we need, right? And they think that's it, like operation shut down. They don't realize that there's layers beyond this. Falcone isn't at the top of the food chain.
Yeah, makes sense. I love this cut that you've done of this scene where it's just like it looks like it looks like he just walks in and then it's immediate. He sees it
It's like, there it
immediately
is.
and then he gets shot.
Yeah.
It's just like so quick. It almost
Yeah.
looks like it is from the movie. Well, I mean, as in like that is the cut of the movie, but also like it's too quick.
I just edited it
Yeah,
down for time so we
yeah,
didn't
just to
have
get the
to just see
action.
the guys talking. Yeah.
But it's interesting how I like how in this scene, like they do try to stop him, don't they, from doing it, so they didn't
Mm.
have to kill him.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't. Yeah, maybe we don't need to know about what's in there and all that. Like, maybe let's just leave it.
But Cole's feeling pretty confident now because
He
Falcone's off the
is
streets. He doesn't feel as a threat anymore. He's like, because he says to the guys, he goes, we're doing things a little different now, right? But he doesn't realize that it's like Falcone was actually like just a cog in a bigger piece
exactly.
of machinery. And there's someone much more
Yeah,
scarier than him out there. And he
like a
doesn't
fairly
realize
big
how
cog, but still just
corrupt,
a cog.
yeah,
Yeah,
and he doesn't realize how far this corruption spreads as well. He knew it
yeah.
involved the judge, he knew it involved Falcone, but he didn't realize
I
that
didn't know
it
anything else after
involves
that.
court officials, more officers, certainly not to the point where they're
Yeah,
going to shoot a DA in the back. Like
that's a big deal. I
yeah.
like how he's got like this swank to him, like as he walks. There's kind of this like, like yeah, I'm like you said, it's like we're doing things differently now. Like I've got, yeah, it's like yeah, he definitely exudes confidence right now. It's like yeah, I've got this, guys.
But just like the Batman, we've lost the DA in this movie as well. We're going to need a new one for the Dark Knight, and we're going to need a new one for the Batman Part 2. When you watched this movie originally and he dies, was you ever thinking to yourself, because I was thinking, oh, so we now need a new DA. Harvey Dent could be in the next movie. That's what I thought watching this. That's what I thought watching the Batman. Did that ever cross your mind at the time?
I don't know. I don't know if it crossed my mind at the time. I can't remember, man. It was such a long time ago. But it was like, it was a shock that happened. But I guess it's, yeah, again, it's the corruption. Like, is so, it's everywhere, right? Like, I guess nobody's safe.
And on that sobering note, that brings us to the end of this episode. These scenes we've watched, the one with Batman and Flash, that's one of my favorite parts of this movie. One of my favorite parts of all the Batman movies, really. It's like a standout scene. It's just seeing Batman do his thing in Gotham City, how I love to see it portrayed.
Yeah, and it's like it's not Batman like kicking ass and punching everyone or whatever. It's just like him like trying to investigate and find out what's going on and like there's a it's definitely more of an action oriented thing, but it's also like him piecing things together and trying to find clues and yeah,
Yeah.
I do love seeing this as well, and I love seeing. I wish we saw more of the grime in general. Again, something you do see a bit more in the Batman, but like, yeah, I really like that as well. Like, it's cool.
Because seeing Batman do the detective work in this film is really cool because, like we said, the cops they reached a point and they stopped. They accepted the evidence Batman produced at the docks, and for them it's job done. But Batman
Right.
went to see Gordon, and he's like, "There's more to this. Let's carry on pursuing it. Because obviously the police, they don't know that Flass was there at the docks, right? So, but
Right, yeah,
Batman does. So
exactly.
it's like it's nice to see, and it's nice to see him making the connecting the dots. Like in other movies, we've seen Batman turn up at places, and we don't know how he got there. He just appears.
Right.
You're
Yeah,
just like,
that's a
what?
big one for me. Yeah, exactly. I like to see that like there's more to it and like you can see how he's getting like how he's actually piecing things together. And maybe he doesn't show everything that he does to investigate
But
here,
enough to
but
sort
enough.
of so you're
Yeah.
not questioning it. Like in Batman
Yeah.
89, there's that scene when Vicky Vale leaves a message on Bruce Wayne's answering phone. And she says, I'm going to be late meeting you at the museum. And then Batman hears the message relayed from Alfred. Cut to him like smashing through the skylight as Batman.
Yeah.
And you're like, how does that work? Why would you think that she's in danger that warrants you going as Batman? All it would be is a miscommunication, right? A cross wire. You thought you had a date at a certain day, it didn't work out, right? Um, even
Yeah.
even if you hadn't even ever spoken to her about meeting at a museum for a date, to me it just seems a bit of a leap to go like, I need to go into full Batman mode.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's why it's crucial to have these bits right where you can actually see how he's piecing things together so you can understand.
You find these scenes in a lot of the Batman movies where it's these leaps of logic where you just think, wait, what? Like, and that's not good. If you have that moment in a movie where you're just like, how? And then you have to sit there thinking about it, like to try and puzzle it out, to try and like give it a backstory yourself. It's like, well, you shouldn't really be doing that while you're watching a movie. You shouldn't have to do all the sort of legwork. Whereas, like with Batman Begins here, you're getting all the links, you're getting all the pieces, you're getting from A to B to C. Like less a movie, Batman would just like turn up at Arkham or something, and he's fighting the Scarecrow. It's like, how did you even work out that they're at Arkham? Like, but this movie, it gives you the pieces. He's putting the legwork in.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you need to tell the audience, man, like what's going on so they can also make these links.
But then it makes Batman cooler as well, right? It makes him cleverer.
Yeah.
It makes the movie clever. It makes Batman cleverer. It just makes it more enjoyable, in my opinion. I mean, that's the thing about this movie that is superior to the Batman movies that came before, and it's the story, right? The script. It is a better written movie than any of the others. We praise Burton because of the visuals and some of the revolutionary ideas that he had and the music and all these other amazing things about those movies, but they kind of they're not great with plot, are they?
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
definitely some
yeah.
like sometimes it's some stuff that you think after the movie, right, where you're like, yeah, that was a bit weird that it did this and this. But that yeah, there's some stuff that is just like very like
Some movies do
gapingly.
such a good job of like enthralling you in the moment that you don't even think about it, like because you're just so into the moment, into what's happening. You're just enjoying yourself so much that it can sort of those things can slip by you, and it's only on repeated watchings when you're just like, what? Like,
Yeah.
that
But that's I think that's the sign of a good movie as well because like it's I think it's okay to have some issues if it's
good
enthralled
that
you so
it's
much
yeah.
because it is meant to be movies are meant to be designed to have the first movie watching as the best
Yeah, they're
time,
not really designed to be watched over and over again on the home video format, right? I mean, it's cool that
yeah.
we can do that, but they're not really meant for that, right? They're meant to just keep you entertained for like the few hours that you're watching it.
Yeah. And I mean, even now with the sort of Netflixy world we live in, it's the same, but maybe even more disposable, right? Everything's, excuse me, everything's designed to be watched that first time. Yeah.
Yeah, never sin again. But yeah, this has been a
But yeah,
great episode. I've enjoyed talking about this.
yeah, I
Yeah.
really enjoyed this. Yeah.
And then next time we're going to be going to the Narrows for some more awesome
Yeah.
dystopian architecture.
Should be
Th-
fun.
All right. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.